Andy Bent with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
Yes, we have Eddie Hedges along with his wife Suzanne and Nicholas and their daughter as well. Eddie is a member of Reunion of Souls, formerly known as Blessid Union of Souls, who had the #1 hit song, I Believe, along with many other hits. His wife and son and daughter are in the entertainment industry as well, and we're going to find out a little bit about what they're all up to.
And we're excited to have them on.
So excited to have them on.
Yay, hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi, everyone.
And y'all will hear from our 9-year-old a little bit later.
Yes, we'll bring him in. He'll have a couple questions.
So let's start. I usually start with COVID, but you know what? Let's just go in. Tell us a little bit about, Eddie, how you got started in music.
Yes.
Oh man, you know what? I think when you're born, it's just in you, and then and if you can, and as you go through life, you just kind of bang. For me, I'm a drummer, so I'm always hearing stuff. I'm always beating on stuff, and if you can get past everybody saying get a real job, then you can probably hang in there. It's like, so it was a fascinating. It's always a fascinating journey. Journey because the music industry itself is kind of crazy. There's goes up and down, hills and valleys, but the same thing. And people have to understand it's called the music business for a reason, not just music. You know what I mean? So you got to deal with the business part of it. So it definitely takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of just focus, to kind of stay in it. And like I said, if you can deal with, the constant grind of it itself, just because of the sheer love that you have for music, then you'll get it. Now, I grew up in a family that was musicians. I think my mom, she was one of my favorite singers, and we grew up in the Hedges family church choir. So we all sang together in church, played in plenty of bands. My brother and I played in bands, and we did all those Holiday Inn circuits, and then just constantly played. So I was always doing music somewhere until we with the Blessid Union of Souls. That was I almost said Reunion of Souls.
Y'all are going to be on stage and you're going to say that.
I know, right? Well, the thing was, when we were in Blessid, I was actually playing with Sheila E. at the time. I was her drummer. I was living in LA. Yeah. I was a hired gun. So I was bouncing around from different bands and touring. And for those who don't know what a hired gun is, it's basically a hired musician for artists who don't have a band. And there goes my German Shepherd. Wait a minute, watch out. Now you're going to knock stuff over. Come here.
We have 2 large German Shepherds that always want to be a part of everything.
Okay, here.
I understand that.
Here comes the other one. She's jealous. You guys lay down. So, I was a touring musician even then. I went from a group years ago called Belle Biv DeVoe. With some old guys to a girl named Shanice, and then I was a drummer for Sheila E. And then I did all the Arsenio Hall things, and did the first when Jay Leno left. When Johnny left and Jay Leno came in, I did that first show. So it was constantly just bouncing around until finally I came home and put together Blessid. I put that together with a couple guys, and then we stopped that for a while, and people always ask me all the time. They say, "Why did you leave Blessid Union of Souls?" And the only reason I left is because my mom wanted me to. That was it. She said, I was with my mom the day that she passed, and she said, "Listen, I got to tell you something." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She says, "This thing you're doing, traveling, going around the world, doing God knows what." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "It's time to stop." Because she knew we were out just getting crazy, and she was looking out for me.
You had to grow up some.
Yeah, basically, grow up. Yeah, get a real job. Yeah, so, but that was it. And then, oh, I'm sorry, baby. And then we decided, hey, let's put this thing back together. So now we're playing again. We're having a blast. The guys we're all just having fun, and we're still doing what we do. Except now we're older, we're more responsible. And the majority of us,
and get aches and pains probably more.
You think? I can't jump off the stage like I used to. You know, but the joy is still there. The joy is still there. We're all still having fun and having just a blast. You know, so yeah, you know, and I'll probably keep doing music, but now, of course, the majority, like the rest of the guys in the band, not only do we play live, but we all have studios in our home because we're working on productions for other artists and TV and things like that. So, you know, so when they say get a real job, I'm like, I have one. It's the job of creation and creating music and producing, you know, which isn't 9 to 5 by any means. You'll be in there all day. Sometimes I lose days. I'm like, wait a minute, what day is this?
You know, you talk about get a real job. We get exactly what you're saying because, you know, we have never had a real job in our almost 19 years of our marriage.
Work non-traditional.
We've done gig work to stay afloat. We do different things.
Businesses.
And we do the show. And of course, we've heard it over and over again. And I'm about to be 50. And we got a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I know people are like, wow, get with the program and do what everybody else does. And I'm like, you know what? We are not doing what everybody else does.
Exactly.
We are enjoying life.
Right.
Do what you love. That's what I always tell people. I said, you know what? Do what you love. And if what you're doing what you love and it's able to support you, man, you're a winner already. You know, I mean, why?
My buddy Joe said, how do we track this gentleman down? Talking about he loves Blessid.
Yes.
Joe, our buddy Caleb from our other show, he connected us.
Caleb, cool, man. Yeah, that was fun. He's fun too. And we had a great time. Tony and I were talking, and it was great. So, but you get it there. You get it. They say, get a real job. No, this is my job. And I tell everybody else, you know what, if you're going to get a job, you're going to do a job, do what you love. Because then, you know, every day is like, it's not really working, you know, you're just having a good time. So, and it's just fun. It's fun. You know, I think everybody should do that. Everybody should do what they enjoy.
Absolutely.
So y'all from Cincinnati?
Cincinnati, yeah.
No, he is.
I'm from Cincinnati. My wife.
I'm from Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
And then they were born.
I was born in Cincinnati.
Where?
I really don't. I lived there 6 months of my life. My dad was military.
Okay.
My whole mom's side of the family lives in Cincinnati, but I don't really go there a whole lot.
Yeah, it's been
but I have no idea. I know that we lived, if I remember correctly, my grandma lived off of Chlorine Avenue.
Chlorine Avenue, yeah.
I thought you said chlorine.
That part I know.
Yeah, right. Yes, sweetie.
So, how did y'all meet?
Pour you in a little bit there.
Hold on, she's here. Why don't you do this?
You want to hop out and then we'll call you back in?
Okay. Sit on this pillow.
Or you can sit on my lap.
Here, you can sit on the pillow. Okay, never mind. Ooh-wee, now I can breathe. No, I'm kidding.
So tell us the story of how y'all met.
Yes.
What version? You want Eddie's version or my version?
We'd love to hear both.
You know what? Go ahead. Tell your version.
So I was living in Lexington at the time, and I was part of a modeling agency called Images Model and Talent Agency. And every year they would work this big giant party. It was usually hosted by Clearwater channel.
Yeah.
Clear Channel. And then I think it turned to iHeart. But anyway, so back then they would have this big party. They'd bring in celebrities and stuff. And I had been a few times, and we were working it. We look like, well, we were supposed to look like Victoria's Secret models, but we look like we look like hookers. Anyway, so they were there. They played, and I was having fun. And hey, we got pictures, and then we just started talking. And he called me. He called me that night from his hotel, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come see me?" I was like, hey, "No, I'm not coming to your hotel." And he's like, "No, I'm not like that. I'm really nice." And he actually was. So I went to his hotel, and but I swear nothing happened. Nothing happened. He got me downstairs. He forgot the key to his room, and then I asked him.
The crazy, I'm cutting her off. The crazy thing was, I called and asked her to come over, and then I fell asleep.
Because he had two drinks.
I had two. I'm a lightweight.
Screwdrivers, and he was like, "Hello." I was like, "You called me over here. What are you doing?" And then this is how I knew he was not psycho was
Yeah.
or crazy, because I told him I bring my camera everywhere, and if anybody knows me knows I take a lot of pictures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I had every moment's an Instagram moment, but I had taken a picture of that night with the band or whatever, and I told him, I said, hey, why don't you give me your address and I'll send you doubles, because back then nothing was digital, like you had to get them developed at Walgreens and get doubles.
Yeah.
So
What
see, what are doubles?
I know.
So it was film, and they actually produced the pictures like
oh,
hard
like
copy.
those little red light things. Like
No, I'll
No,
explain
we'll
later.
explain it later.
Okay.
Actual photographs, like printed photographs.
Oh.
But you get doubles, because you can get singles or doubles. So get doubles of each of the photos, because then I was going to give Eddie the doubles, and then he actually gave me.
Oh.
Okay, here's a 15-year-old moment. Aha.
Uh-huh.
So I gave him. He gave me his home address, and I thought, I could totally like stalk you, but with you. And here we are, 20 odd years later, 2 kids living in Los Angeles, and our life is crazy.
Now, my story.
Yeah.
I go to a gig and I'm like, wow, she's hot. I gotta holler at her. Then of course I was nervous, I didn't really know what to say. So, the people walking around with the drinks, hey, I asked for one. It was a screwdriver, and I said, that's pretty good, because I don't really drink. I have beer.
Yeah.
But that was pretty good. Now, unlike 2 beers, the 2 screwdrivers, I had a lot of courage after that second one. So I went to start talking to her,
I'm taking the advice from you.
No, don't take that advice. Study hard, son.
Yes,
Stay in-
college,
get-
soccer.
and get a real job.
Get a real
Yeah.
job.
I want school to start now.
See?
See?
Yeah.
I also got a new backpack with unicorns on it.
Oh, cool.
There you go. There you go. So that's kind of how we, and then, and the funny thing was, she met my mom before my mom passed, and she said, my mom told me, and I grew up with 4 brothers, there's 5 of us.
Mhm.
So mom she saw a lot of our girlfriends come through, right?
Okay.
And she said, she told me, she says, I like that girl.
Oh, wow.
I said, thank you, Mom. I like her too. She says, no, I like this one, is what she said.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So then, after my mom was gone, my dad said, I was talking to your mom, and she said she really likes Suzanne. And I said, yeah, Dad, I like Suzanne.
Nudging you here.
I like her too. And she said, no. She said, you'll marry her. And I'm like, Mom was right about a lot of things, but not this one. I am not going down that road, man. Forget the whole marriage. I'm done. I'm in a band. I'm touring. I get time to get married, And then 3 years later, I do. So we were married 3 years later.
What's funny is we actually, back in 2002, we met online. Back when it was taboo, of course.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was the norm at that time.
And we met February 2nd of 2002, talked on the phone for the first time February 4th. February 18th, we set a wedding date, and March 4th, we met in person.
No
So we
way!
were meeting in
Super
person
crazy.
to see who we were going to marry.
Wow.
Yes.
And here we are, October 5th, will be
19
19 years
later.
married.
Ah, that's so awesome.
That's cool.
Wow.
That's
I
very,
lost friends over this because they said, "Oh, you're too crazy."
They were just like,
They didn't even want a
crazy.
friendship with a crazy man like me.
oh, well, it is quite adventurous, I must say.
Adventure. The Adventureland here
See?
at the Hedges household.
I know. No, that's cool. That's very cool. Well, when we got married, we were trying to find somebody to marry as a preacher.
No.
Mhm.
Of course, we live in LA, right? So our preacher we saw him on TV. He was an actor.
No. He
Right?
he was in it was a movie called like Tidal Wave. I could probably look him up on IMDb. I don't remember his name, but I would be like, oh yeah, that was the guy.
He was
Yeah,
an actor.
he's an actor.
Cool.
He was an actor, but he was an ordained minister.
Yeah.
But he was an actor. You're like, yeah, it's typical.
What better way to get married, right?
I know, right? It was fun. It was fun. And then some years later, this one came. And then much later, this one came.
Oh yes.
It's never a dull moment at the Hedges household. Never a dull moment. It's
We
pretty
feel
cool.
the same way too.
Yes,
Never a dull
we have
moment
2
here.
little ones, too.
And-
You little ones. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got a 9-year-old and a
And a
2-year-old.
2-year-old. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I remember too.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
We're going through the tantrum
Yeah,
phase
tried
right now,
tried
though.
2 at 49.
Oh yeah, I know.
And
Believe me, I get it. I get it. I get it. Hey, what about you? Don't need any more sleep, do you? No.
No. We need sleep.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but
So
but it's always a joy. You wouldn't
It
trade
is.
it for anything.
Such a huge blessing.
so, Suzanne, tell us a little bit of your acting career. How did that all get started?
Third grade, I was Little Orphan Annie. I guess
Oh,
I don't know. I always did school plays, and then I was also a gymnast. Ended up going to. I was from Wisconsin. Went to University of Kentucky. I was on scholarship as a gymnast, but then I always had the want to be like on stage or in front of the camera. And so that's when I joined Images Model and Talent Agencies. There was like 2 of them out of Lexington. And, I started doing commercials and then came out to LA, visited. I said, God, this is where I want to come out. And I was a little bit older, I was like around 27 when I came out here. And it's a hustle, been through my fair share of agents and managers.
Wow.
We're finally at a place like my manager, she's actually one of my really good friends. So is my agent. So it's like the perfect mix. It's a lot of work, for every yes, you have about 100 no's, just depending, and sometimes not that bad, but, I also coach, they both work, I enjoy being on TV, love commercials. I just love working, worked a couple jobs even through the pandemic, which was pretty amazing. I shot an episode of Tacoma FD. That I'm hoping that they still are going to air season 3. And those are the guys from Super Troopers. If you remember that movie, really funny guys. It was me and the 6 cast members. And then I shot a commercial for Purple, which is going to be really funny because I sing and I don't sing and I sing. So I guess technically that would make me a professional singer. Yeah, so I'm waiting for that to come out. And then, this one little one here, she's just over the past like 2 months has booked a couple print jobs.
Oh, awesome.
And then if any Grey's Anatomy fans or fanatics, because I realize there's quite a few of them, Nick, he plays the son of Dr. Cormac Hayes on the show, which is, I guess he's going to hopefully be Ellen Pompeo's love interest.
How did that happen?
So
if that happens, then
we're hoping they bring him back for season 18.
I really want to come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did he get that part?
Oh God! Again, it was such a crazy time.
It was so crazy.
I coached him because I was going to be gone. I booked a commercial shot in Las Vegas, and it ended up never airing. It was such a fun commercial because I was in Vegas.
Uh-oh. Watch out, Eddie.
What? Hey, Caleb. Hey, Caleb. Anyway, so I was in Vegas shooting the commercial. So Eddie had to take him to casting over at Prospect Studios in Hollywood. And I think you even had Leona, and they were running late, and casting's like, where are they? And I told him, I said, and when I coached them, I was very specific, make sure you do this and this and this. And then they pinned him, and I was like, holy cow, and I knew it was going to be recurring.
The wind is blowing in my eye.
Oh, that's from the fan?
Mm-hmm.
Let me put your head down.
Be on the glove desk. Be on the glove desk.
Yep. And and then he ended up booking it, and then he shot one episode and was like really short, and then the other episode was when they introduced like the doctor, his name is Richard Flood. Richard's character was there, and then their mom passed away, so it was a really emotional scene. Like the mom died of cancer, and it was tough. But him and his younger, his fake younger brother, which he's become friends with, and then they were going to bring him back for another episode. No.
She's become friends. Who?
No, he's become friends.
Oh, I thought you said she's become friends.
No. I know you're a boy, baby. And then they were going to do another episode. I want to say back in like January, February, and then I think maybe the numbers with the pandemic were too high because they did work quite a bit, Grey's Anatomy, with absolutely no COVID cases, and then that got canceled, and then they ended up bringing them back, and then that's when they did the Black Lives Matter episode, which was really great. Fantastic cast and crew. Everyone was nice, well-oiled machine, no egos. It's lovely, for sure.
Everyone's like super nice. Like Not gonna lie.
So Joe asked, why was it spelled blessed like that?
So that people would say blessed. You know, 'cause if it was Blessed, it was blessed. You know?
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's let's see, it's hilarious because when Eddie mentioned your son wasn't that good. Yeah. No, you know, it's funny. He was, his first gig was a Kirk Franklin video.
He was a baby. He was 6
He was
months
a baby.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the song was called Imagine Me. And the lady walks out on the front porch and she's holding a baby.
And it's
Yeah.
Nick.
You know, I'm like, well, here we go. And then after that, it was just gig after gig.
And now he's
Wow.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
covered all of us.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So, yes.
hey, Mom.
You know, a lot of people, they see the glory of your big artists and your big celebrities, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifices, the tears, the
Oh,
struggle
man.
Yeah.
to get there. And I
Yeah.
always want to talk about that side of it because I think that most hosts never go over this side.
Right.
Yeah.
But on our show, we always talk about this side of it because I
It's
think before
important.
people jump in, they need to know that just because you're talented doesn't mean you're going to make it easy.
No.
So let's
No.
talk about the sacrifices y'all have had to go through individually to get to where
Yes,
y'all
and
are.
as a family.
So for acting, it's brutal. I'm not gonna lie.
very
Really, just in the last 2 days. And so now, because of the pandemic, there's a lot of like self tapes, like, and that's why we have this great lighting setup, and we look so nice because we have to do these like self tapes, and we, between the four of us, sometimes it was like just Nick and Eddie, whatever. We've had 10 auditions in 2 days, and it takes time because I have to edit the video, upload them to casting. So that alone is time consuming, and people are like, "My God, you get a lot of auditions. You're lucky." But again, I have fantastic reps, like my agent and manager, like my really good friends. So, but I can't even begin to tell you the stories of how I was supposed to work, and then I got released numerous times. Like I got booked, and then I got released. He was also on Mistresses, and he got fired because he was too tall. He was 6 years old, and I was sitting behind Video Village, and she was new. She was like a new producer, and she came over from the WB, came over to ABC, and she freaked out when she saw him on the monitor. And I'm like, you should have known how to. She was like, oh my God, he's a giant. So he ended up getting the can. He was supposed to be recurring, and then full circle, they brought him back in because they moved up production to Canada, and then they came back, and then they needed another Scotty, and then we got the call, and I'm like, he was Scotty already. They're like, oh, that's great. So they brought him back like at the very beginning of the series to the end. But yeah, we get a lot of releases, a lot of holds, not first choice, a lot, and it's a lot of work. And if you don't have thick skin, you can't take anything personally, because I might remind somebody, I might remind the producer of an
hear that a lot.
and it's not going to work out. Like I'm going to remind them of that. So
it's a brutal business. It's a brutal business. So I saw the question about the blowback on, I believe, the word. There was blowback. There was blowback, but a lot of it was the label, the record label.
Oh, wow.
A lot of times, it's just the climate of where the country is right now, and where it was before, and without getting into a whole lot of that, not a whole lot has changed, you know what I mean? So, but it was, when Elliot wrote that song, it was personal to him because it was something that he was going through at the time. Yes. I remember he was dating this girl, and it was, we would talk about it. It was kind of a sticky thing. So he was like, this is how he was viewed, by that other side. So he was like, I'm just going to do this because this is, he didn't want to jeopardize the integrity of his writing, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, and it was a really powerful message too, but people felt like it might have been a little bit too much. So we have two versions. And as the Reunion of Souls ourselves, we, of course, now, especially now, we say brother from the street only because, we don't want to, people know what it is.
Right.
And I don't think we need to make that big of a deal out of that word right now. So, it's, that's kind of where it came from. And yeah, we did experience some blowback. Some places we couldn't do the original, sing it, or even play it, because but if people really kind of understood the real story, then then they would accept the real content, because they knew what it was about, So it's one of those. And like I said, how many years now, and not a whole lot has changed. But look at Marvin Gaye. He's saying what's going on. And Stevie Wonder, same thing, living in the city, there's a lot of songs that focus on, different climates and the only way things are going to change, it starts with one person, if you change, and you don't have to preach to anybody about it either, just be an example.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but that's like, as a Christian, you see a lot of Christians out there want to throw the Bible at people. And I'm like, that's not what God called us to do.
It's about
God called us to live and be that example and to love one another.
Yes.
Exactly.
And eventually if people see that your step is different, they're going to ask.
Sure. Yeah. You know what it is? You don't force the word down. You don't force the Bible on anybody, but what it is, and I always say the same thing. It's like, you may be the only Jesus that they see. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You may be the only, Christian. So, you live your life by example, because there's a lot of people who are kind of like on that fence anyway, and therefore they start judging. You know what? Just be the best human that you can be, and they'll see that in you. And treat people the way you want to be treated. It's simple, just treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, because this last year through COVID, I tell you, when you watch Facebook, I have learned a lot of things that I did not want to know about people.
You learn, hey, you know what? You learn a lot about people. You know what? That the whole COVID thing and the election thing, and it was like, okay, and it brought, and I asked Suzanne this. I said, I wonder if you knew this about your friends when you were friends, would you still be friends? You know what I mean? It's because,
of course, people always say but yet we know that's not true.
Nah.
Because if you look at my Facebook page, I've got a bunch of Democrats, a bunch of Republicans, a bunch of big Trump people, a bunch of anti-Trump people, a bunch of liberals, a bunch of conservatives. My Facebook, I get to see, and I'm glad that I created my page to be like this, because I get to kind of see all points of view. Because every day I'm like, I agree with that. Nope, don't agree with that. Nope, I agree with that, but boy, I wouldn't have said it that way. But I get to see all these points of views, and many times I'm like, I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you know what? It's funny. And too, the crazy thing is, a lot of people, they get their news from Facebook.
Look at what Joe said.
But that's important, though. It's very important. And you keep an open mind, and listen, we all know this. Everybody has free will. You can choose what you want, you can say what you want. When it comes to that stuff, I don't debate people. It's for me, it's kind of a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I'm not going to change your mind.
And you're not, and they're not changing yours.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what? Do your thing. I'll do mine.
I post cute dog photos.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Until she starts posting those dog rescue photos, something else to look at, man.
I'd be like, I can't believe you posted that. I can't unsee that. I'm like, I'm sorry, the dog needs to be adopted. It had fleas and ticks and it's gonna die.
Yeah, but it's but for the most part, I mean, we're all pretty much, we're pretty much close to the same. Now, the big thing right now is my son does beats. He does a lot of music right now. Not only is he as an artist, is he acting. Oh, I missed that last question, so you have to read it to me again. The one chick I thought she. Yeah, I know, right? Well, there's a lot of stuff. What about the guy who had the magnet on his arm? Remember that one? Well, I was saying,
and I've got friends of mine that say, "Oh, they did it too," and it with magnet, and I'm like, "Come on."
Yeah.
Really
You know what? I can do that too with a little glue. He'll something on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, what we're doing now is, we're so busy because not only is it acting, but now I'm trying to help him to understand the business part of the music.
Yeah.
Because it's and he's amazing what he does. The beats that he does, I listen to him now. I'm not necessarily into that style. You know how our parents are. What are these kids listening to? What the heck is that? These kids, that kind of thing. So I hear him. Of course, I can't do the language. I'm like, hey, listen, man.
He doesn't do the language. He just makes the beats. He just but some of the music he listens to, and I'm like, oh, the dropping of the.
Yeah,
but they actually have stories in the songs. That's what I listen to.
And a lot of it true.
It's cuss, but I don't really care about the cussing. I just care about what they say in the song.
Yeah,
the lyric,
the meaning.
The meaning of the song.
Yeah. But for me, I'll listen to the beats. I'll listen to the style, and what he's doing is it sounds like I get him mixed up with rappers and the cats on the radio. I'm like, is that yours or theirs? And to me, and I hear a lot of music. I work with a lot of artists. I produce people, and it's like, it's amazing what he's doing. And it's funny because you remember in the day when we needed a huge studio to do stuff, he sits in there on his little laptop, speakers and headphones.
Well, we're right now on a laptop and the phone. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So it's amazing what you can do. Once again, if you have the drive, and you're motivated. But the biggest thing, and I tell people all the time, the biggest thing is you can't replace support. You have to, you got to have some support, because I didn't have a lot of support in what I was doing growing up. And it took a long time for me to just decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my real.
I was always the outcast.
Yeah, me too. But I was also always I'm a middle child. So I was the one who was supposed to be responsible,
Yes.
I am, I'm still that guy, takes care of a lot of stuff, but I am different. I left, I moved away from Ohio, to do my own thing. And it's funny because every time I go back to Ohio, not a whole lot has changed, Wow. So it's, he says, all you need is, ice cream man. It is. It really is. I'm still learning too.
Because that's what we're using, a StreamYard.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of ads about that.
It's way better than Zoom. As you see, you can brand it the way you want it.
Yeah.
It's easy for guests because as you've seen, you just click on and you're here without downloading anything.
Yeah.
I'll be investigating that today because I don't know if you remember when we used to do a lot of Facebook Lives. And bands were like doing all these videos and things on that. Lately, it was we were doing it anyway before COVID, before it was popular to do this, because we're spread out all over the country. I'm in LA, Jeff's in Florida, Chuck's in New York, Tony's in Cincinnati. So we would even rehearse this way.
Oh, wow.
We recorded this way. It's a lot of the stuff. I mean, we have some music videos that we've done this way. We just do our part on our phone. We send it to either one of our studios, and one of us has to edit it, mostly, or Jeff. But it's easy to do, especially now. You don't have to hire some, big production company to do these things.
Yeah.
I think for us, it's going to kind of continue to do this way, even with the shows that we have coming up. We even, like I said, we even rehearse this way. We do our what we call stems, which are, you guys know what stems are. But when we record our parts and we put together the show, then we can all rehearse on our own, and then we'll come together the night before in the hotel room, and run down the show. Okay, we're good. Let's go. That kind of thing.
Wow.
So a lot has changed.
And with StreamYard too, I think Zoom, you can live stream like one platform. With StreamYard, you can do up to 8 at the same time.
Nice. See, and that's something I'm looking into because Jeff used to use something called it was another device with a box, a streaming device. So he would use that through Facebook Live or Zoom or something. It was too many things,
Yeah.
And then so now I'm like, okay, how can I? Because I got to start doing this again. And I looked into like, the pro version of Zoom, and then I looked into some other stuff, and I'm like, man, nothing really does what I want it to do. I just now got hip to this StreamYard. So I'm like, okay, I need to really investigate this, and I'll probably end up doing the same thing you guys are doing, because it's
because even Caleb, he does use a StreamYard too.
That's right. He does.
Oh yeah, he said if it wasn't for Zoom StreamYard, we wouldn't have a podcast, nor we'd have thanks, man. I appreciate it, Caleb. Really do. Well, you know what? You guys are teaching me something, which is great. And once again, you just got to keep focused and keep moving. So I love it that the tools are available for us.
Now you're talking about support. As you know, a lot of people, they see you as the artist and you as the actress, but they don't see the teams behind the people. In our opinion, they don't get the love they deserve.
No,
on our show they do. So if y'all want to take a few minutes just to tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Well, you're looking at it.
And job, pay bills.
No, it's like I said, when I tell people it's never a dull moment in my house. It's not so much that, I mean, it's not all glamour. It's not all that. I mean, perfect example. I was in Cincinnati visiting family. I came home. Suzanne says, well, the water company called, said we're in tier 4 now because there's something. We're using a bunch of water. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, be in tier 4, man. So I'm walking around, and I noticed that one of the sprinklers in the front yard was constantly draining. Now luckily I grew up in a family of contractors, laborers. We've always done all of our own stuff. So I was walking around. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. That head is leaking. So what I do, I'm out there and I'm digging up the head, so I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, it's dripping around the 2 lines of the water pipes that are running in. I don't know what that is. I went up, turned the heads up, turned off the knobs, everything. So to me, I'm thinking, that the sprinkler valve, the gaskets are going inside the sprinkler valve. So here I am. I go to my second Home Depot, and I go in there and I buy the whole sprinkler valve, but then I buy a sprinkler valve gasket kit, right? Mm-hmm. And so I decide first, I'm going to fix the valve. That's only $7. Yeah. The valve itself is like $40. If I can do this, I can save some money, and apply it toward the other monster bill over here, because everybody knows LA is really expensive. So we do a lot of this kind of stuff. We are not only homeowners, but we're also the maintenance man, we're the gardener, we're the this, we're the that,
But we do have a gardener.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody does in LA.
We're not a housekeeper.
Not yet.
I do
we are the housekeeper. We're, we're really simple people, but we're also, it's kind of like, it just makes sense to. What?
He's wondering if he should come back in.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you my son. They got questions.
We actually we're not those people like they're stars. We're normal, regular people. I love our neighborhood. We talk to each other. We have each other's keys.
Yeah.
Some of us even know our security.
We have neighborhood watch.
We know each other's security codes to get in our house in case they're not there, and something like, hey, I left my coffee pot on. Can you go in and turn it off?
Caleb, come on over. You can go ahead and mow. And then we have a hot tub, so you can sit in the hot tub.
Yeah, man.
That was at Splurge in June of last year. We bought a hot tub.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Well, and this is how. Check this out.
Oh.
Photos. Remember we talked about how many photos she takes? Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. So there was a casting for, at the time I didn't know it was for Google. But it was for Google. Yeah. And they were looking for a father and son, either African-American or Hispanic, I think. And so I started they said, send in photos. So I ended up sending in over 350 photos, and they ended up going with Eddie and Nick. And it was for Google. And at the time, if you remember January of 2020, before everything kind of shut down, there was during the Super Bowl, they had the Loretta commercial, the Google Loretta commercial. And he was like, Loretta, or Google, what was Loretta's, favorite song? Or Google, let me forget, Loretta loved, to smell flowers, because they were an older couple. That was in the same casting. And then, but nothing came out of this one. I thought, oh, God.
Wow.
It's so great, right? And so, and then in April, it's just so weird. In April, they ended up, they said, okay, it's going to move forward, and it was a huge buyout, enough for us to buy a hot tub.
Not a Ferrari, not a Ferrari watch,
but it was a hot tub and then some.
Yeah, it's funny. He says Ferrari on there, and I'm sitting there like, we still drive a '96 Toyota 4Runner.
We did.
We just sold a couple years ago. This is 2002 Ford Explorer, so I get it. So
yeah.
Anyway, so the whole year, like they paid out, and I was like, when is it gonna run? But nothing. And then out of the blue, they were like, hey, it's gonna air on Father's Day. And I was like, okay, so it's on my son's Instagram.
Yeah.
So
or YouTube. Just Google. What was it called? Hello.
Yeah, Google Hello.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. So it's a huge commercial, and it's only photos. So they didn't have to shoot a day, nothing. They just it's based off of photos and me submitting.
But I think they replaced my voice though. Somebody came in and did the voice.
Yeah, that's not his voice. Going at Jake.
Yeah, Jake. The whole purpose of a phone is to
So are you Jake from State Farm?
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? Yeah.
Talking about family, we have a third co-host, our little 9-year-old that's standing there.
Yes,
Get him real quick.
Christopher, I will get him.
Yeah, should we bring our guys
back?
Let
me bring the kids back.
He would love that. And we got a 2-year-old daughter that when she gets older, she'll be plugged in the show too, because we are our show.
Come here, kiddo. Have a seat next to me. You good?
And what's been funny is I always say that we're a family affair, and I was like, I was trying to come up with a media name for everything. I was like, I came up with Family Affair Media, and the domain and everything was available. So,
oh wow,
I love that.
That's cool. And how often does that happen when you come up with your first name and it's available?
I know. Pretty seldom.
I know.
That's what
right?
it was meant to be.
Oh man. So
who we have is Christopher?
Yes.
Hi, bud. How are you?
Hi, Eddie, Susan, and Nicholas. So, what's your favorite?
This is Leona.
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 Nick, where are you, babe? Come here.
Nick is coming. Nick is on his way.
9. He's 2 years older than you, babe.
Here, have a seat.
Come here, babe.
So, what's your favorite food?
The favorite what?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. I can't hear. They're talking. Okay, say that again.
Yes. Okay, so what's your favorite food?
Food?
Orange chicken.
Yes.
Orange chicken. All of it.
Pizza.
What about for you? Like fettuccine?
She said.
Fettuccine Alfredo and pepperoni pizza.
But it just depends on the mood. I like sushi. I also like chocolate.
Mine is pizza.
Mine is pizza as well. You know why? Because it has so many different varieties.
Options. You have options.
Yeah.
I like pepperoni the most.
Yeah, I like veggies.
My topping is pepperoni, sausage, and supreme.
Whoa!
Oh, he's a meat eater.
He's a meat eater. I love it.
Have you tried pineapple on your pizza yet?
We were gonna try it like a week ago for the first time for him, and I don't remember what happened, but we ended up doing just pepperoni again.
Yeah. It's really interesting because you don't think about pineapple on a pizza, but
I like pineapple on pizza.
It is. It's really good.
He just ain't never tried it yet.
Yeah, I don't like chicken on a pizza though. I don't either. See, chicken on a pizza, nah.
I don't like pizza on a chicken.
He says.
He said he feels like a baller with his 2020.
Oh yeah.
Well, it depends on what kind of rims you got on that 2020. You know.
So, what's your favorite TV show?
What is your favorite TV show?
I'd say The Rookie. You know that show?
No.
Oh, it's a police show. It's really good. You should watch it.
You have to watch it.
Yeah.
The Rookie. Yeah.
Yeah, we binge a lot of different things. Eddie and I started watching Dr. Death.
Oh God.
Man, that gave me anxiety. Like, literally, I was like having heart palpitations.
Yeah, they were like, they couldn't do it. I know.
What's your favorite show, Beth?
Yours?
Mine. You like to watch on TV?
Star versus the Forces of Evil.
Star versus the Forces of Evil on Disney Plus. Do you watch that, Christopher?
No, I haven't.
Wow. Okay, what's this, bro? I was so unsafe. Not text and drive. Don't
No.
watch TV and drive. You
Or
know,
else your car's gonna go.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
that 2020 Kia will roll.
Okay, mine is SpongeBob.
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 Yeah, man.
The original, right? The
Right?
original.
And you know what's been pretty cool about it is he watches a lot of the Nickelodeon and Disney shows. So
Yeah.
we've been able to bring on, because we bring on both artists and actors on the show, we've been on bring on a lot of people from Disney and from Nickelodeon for him to talk to, including
Oh,
Oh,
one of
wow.
our latest ones was we brought on the actress that plays Destiny on Bunk.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so my friend's daughter's on Bunk, Scarlett Estevez.
Oh wow.
I don't know what role she plays, but
We brought it was Mallory James.
okay, nice.
Wow.
How
Wow.
fun! That's cool.
How does that make you feel when you actually, Jake, listen to me.
Jake.
The
Christopher.
purpose of a phone, sorry. Chris, how does it make you feel when you get to speak with people when you get to talk to people like that?
I think it's cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. I love it when you get to talk to people who, you know, who you're kind of like into, and they're actually cool people, you know. So yeah, Earth Chris was a little yeah. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV.
He pretty much controls the TV, actually.
Yeah, see, I don't get a chance, you know, so I'm usually in the studio anyway, you know, so I don't really, you know.
Bye, thanks.
All right, man.
Bye, bud.
All right, see you later, buddy.
Yeah, he's been on almost every episode, and you know he enjoys it. We enjoy having him on, and all the guests always enjoy it too.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun, man. You know, you guys, you keep it light, you keep it fun. That's a good thing. You know, we do kind of the same thing here. You know, we have this show coming up. The band, getting back to the Reunion of Souls. We've got this show coming up, and it's over in, where is it? Nebraska?
It's like in Council Bluffs, which I guess is like 15, 20 minutes from Council Bluffs, Omaha.
Omaha, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Sweet Stock show. That's the thing that we were talking about with Caleb and this guy. And it's funny because, you know, we run into a lot of people that we knew years ago, and they're like, they're going to be at the show, or they're, you know, and they still remember us as being kind of the same guys, which were, we used to sit at an autograph table until everybody was gone. You know, I mean, you know, it's just, I look at people like, you know, they're supporting us.
Yeah.
I got to be there for them as long as, you know, and that's the way the whole band has always been. We've always been that way.
Oh,
So
that's
we're really looking forward to meeting, you know, and new people, but also seeing a lot of our friends.
And you know, Joe's right about what he said.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to keep Chris in
Oh, yeah.
He
I
speaks
love-
truth.
I love to talk. In fact, that's something I had to learn with this show. You know, we've done almost 450 interviews now since launch. But the beginning ones, if you go back, there were quite a bit of them that were 90 minutes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Because I couldn't stop talking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to
Your
cut.
business.
Yeah.
And he's had to learn to talk
And
less,
she's
and I've had to
to
learn to talk more. So.
Yeah. You know what? We have that in the band too, because it's like Jeff doesn't talk. You know, you really got to get it out of him. You know, he doesn't really talk much. And I remember when we were out in the beginning, myself and Charlie did all the interviews because, you know, we kind of, I guess you would call it the gift of gab.
Yeah.
Charlie, of course, keyboard player, he's out of New York. We used to have to censor him a lot, you know, and he didn't realize it. You know, he was just like, that's just this is him. That's Charlie, and he's hilarious. He used to play with Ozzy Osbourne. He played with a lot. His resume is insane, you know. So he's got hundreds of stories, and we'd be on the bus traveling, man, and he would talk for hours and share.
Apparently, y'all talked a while on Caleb's show.
Yeah.
2+ hours. Wow.
Oh wow. Yeah. Was that 2? I mean, we talked for 2 hours with him.
That's what he said.
Wow. It didn't even seem like that long. You know, and Charlie was gigging at the time, so he kept coming in and out. He was in New York. They were doing sound check, and he's like the mayor of the Lower East Side. He plays with everybody's band, and he runs shows, and he produces. You know, he's a music director for tons of folks. That's right, Charlie. That's exactly, we get on Charlie. He's now he's I called him the other day. He's in the Hamptons. He did a gig up in the Hamptons, but he has 2 days off by the pool in the Hamptons. Wow. And I'm like, nice. He's like, yeah, I'm chilling. I'm like, okay, man. All right. But I can honestly say that I've played in a lot of different bands. I've worked with a lot of different people, and it's really nice to be able to be in a group of guys that you can be in a room with for a long time. I mean,
that's good.
Really friends. We're really friends. We got each other's back, because I've been in situations where it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case at all. But I've met a lot of celebrities who are cool. I met some who are not so cool. And I personally, I met some of my friends. I met my I wouldn't say idols, but people who I was like, man, I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so nice, I mean, we're a little older, so a lot of the kids won't know who some of these people are. But for example, Bonnie Raitt.
Who? I'm just kidding. Yo, Bonnie Raitt is.
I mean,
I can say this, young kids.
I was in this rehearsal facility in LA, and I went in with a buddy of mine who was he was running sound for Stevie Wonder. So we go in, and I'm going in, and I'm like, okay, I want to go in and watch the rehearsal, And so Stevie wasn't there yet, so I walked down the hall to the other rehearsal facility, and there was this room was open. I'm starving, and there was just a plate of food a table of food laid out. And I was like, I kept looking in there to the point where I got really close, and I hear somebody go, "What are you looking at?" And I turn around, Bonnie Raitt. And I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm just here. And she says, well, are you hungry? And I'm like, well, and I'm like, and she says, well, how are you going in and get something to eat?
Oh wow.
I was like, can I? She says, yeah. She said, that's my rehearsal room. You can have whatever you want. I was like, oh, that was so cool. So I came out of there after I ate, and Stevie still wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll wait for him to show up. So I go down to another area, and this huge room where they're rehearsing, and they're auditioning guitar players from Michael Jackson. So I know the drummer, the guy, his name was Ricky Lawson. So I'm like, I run into him and say, hey man, what do you guys? He says, we're rehearsing guitar players from Michael Jackson. I said, so who's in here today? He said, there's a girl named Lita Ford. I'm like, okay, I've heard of Lita Ford, And he goes, he says, I don't know if it's going to work out though. I said, why is that? He says, come in and hang out at the rehearsal. You'll see. So we're in there. This girl is killing it. She's playing. But anytime she makes a mistake, man, she had a real foul mouth. He was like, Mike's not going to stand for that. I'm like, really? But I did see her play some shows with him. So apparently she got through. But stuff like that, I talk about that stuff. I'm like, man, that's so cool. Not everybody gets to do that, and she and I didn't really get a chance to meet her personally, but just watching her just killed it. I was playing with Sheila at the same rehearsal facility, and we were in one room, and Van Halen was practicing down the hall.
Oh wow!
So we would always take lunch together. So Alex and I would always eat lunch together. Right. And he says, of course, I asked the question that everybody asks. So what happened with David Lee Roth? He said, don't even say his name. Don't even say his name. I'm like, why? Just because if Eddie hears his name, he's just, I'm like, okay, right then Eddie walks in. I'm like, hey, I didn't say anything, I'm like, these kind of stories, I'm like, wow, So another one, I think I mentioned to Caleb. I said I was at another rehearsal facility with Sheila at the time, and it was like a triangle set up. The rooms were set up in a triangle. So we were in this room. Billy Idol was in this room over here,
wow,
and Michael McDonald was in the other room. So we would always start first. We would rehearse. By the time we took lunch, Mike's team was coming in, right? So I'm like, I want to check them out. I'm a huge Michael McDonald fan. So, so they go in, we take lunch, and everybody leaves. I stay behind so I can wait and hear them practice. And so I hear them in there talking, hear them talking. I'm leaning, so I get right up next to the door. Now I'm pressing up against the door. People here, all over it, and the door goes, boom, and opens up.
Uh-oh.
Michael, what are you doing? I'm sorry, man. And then here I start babbling. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm the drummer for the other band across with Sheila, and I just kind of thought maybe I would come over and listen. And he says, well, come on in.
Oh,
wow.
I was like, wow. So I get in there. There's nowhere to sit. Now he's facing the band. He's sitting on his piano bench, and he's facing the band. And I'm like, there's nowhere to sit. He slides over on his seat. I sit down next to him, and he counts the band in. You don't know me. I'm like, I'm sitting on the bench with one of the cats who I love, and he's doing one of the songs that I'm just digging. I'm like,
wow, that's amazing.
That? Yeah. I mean, it's stuff like that. So
only in the entertainment industry, right?
Man, it's like, and then of course there are some, there are some where I'm like, I've never asked. Well, I take that back. I've asked for an autograph twice, but this one person I asked for an autograph. When you do these outdoor concerts, usually they put all the bands in these trailers behind the stage. It's kind of your dressing room. So our trailer was set up next to another guy's trailer, and I don't have anything good to say about him, so I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah.
But my daughter, she's called. I have an older daughter, and she says, "Who are you playing with today?" And I told her. She said, "Oh, can you get me his autograph?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, not a problem. Everybody talks backstage,
Yeah, most people wouldn't mind that at all."
And I asked him for his autograph, and he goes, he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, man, you gotta go ask my manager." And I said, "I won't be asking your manager. I don't really need it." It's like, why? I mean, and then another time we were doing the Donnie and Marie show. I'm sitting in the back with Donnie and Suzanne. I mean, not Donnie, but Marie and Suzanne Summers. And we're just talking. And I asked her, I said, you know what? I've never asked, I don't ask for autographs often. I said, can I have your autograph, Suzanne? And she was like, well, do you have anything to write on? I was like, and we're in the green room. And I pick up a napkin.
Oh, napkin. Oh.
She goes, oh, baby, no, not on a napkin. She goes,
that's funny.
And she goes, I tell you what, I know you guys are on tour right now. When do you get home? I said, I should be home in about 3 weeks. She said, give me your address and I'll mail you a photo, a signed photo.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, yeah, right. I think she mailed us all. She mailed all of us a signed photo to the office.
And she didn't stalk him either. So Suzanne's don't stalk.
See,
so another Suzanne you gave your address to.
Yeah. I know, right? But stuff like that, So then I look back, when people always say, get a real job, you know what, man? Follow your dreams, because that's going to be an adventure that you'll never be able to replace.
Yep.
So true.
There's things out there that,
because one day you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to look back on your life.
Yep. Yeah.
And
you don't want to have
regrets. I mean, everybody will have at least some regrets, but you want to limit that.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, you can't play that coulda, woulda, shoulda game. And, because, I'm kind of country, I tell people all the time, like, look, you can't plow a straight line if you're looking in the rear view, and that's really what it comes down to. Stay focused, on what's going on in your life. Stay focused. If you have a dream, follow it, because there's going to be a lot of things that come up to try to knock you off the path.
I mean, that's like I never even imagined this show, to be honest with you. I mean, we've done almost 450 interviews in 19 months, and we never imagined getting to get so many people that we're getting on now. I mean, we've got John Tesh coming on.
Oh, nice.
We got Eddie, the Christian comedian. Now my mind's going blank.
Michael Jr.
coming on.
Jr., yeah.
And we got so many. We've had Randy Travis, Sarah Evans. We've had
Wow.
we looked up to you
yes.
coming. You came on.
Brian
Luttrell from the Backstreet Boys.
yes.
Oh wow!
And so now it's like the vision that I have is I want to be the first married couple that co-hosts a daytime interviews TV show.
How fun.
You know what? It's there, man.
I
You
love
know,
it.
As far as I know, there's nobody doing that.
Yeah.
right.
Not that I know of. So.
It'll happen. It'll happen. You know what?
So that's, and you know what? If somebody beats us to it, then I still want to have it though. Don't matter.
Yeah, but you know what? If somebody beats you to it, don't worry. Then there'll be two of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you know, claim it, man. You know, you know, you claim it. You stay focused on it. It'll happen. You know, and things don't always happen in our time, but they will happen in His time. You know, and if you just stay pressed on it, man, keep praying on it. You know, I think, you know, people, they see us in this situation, and they don't really understand the sacrifices that we've made to kind of, you know, keep the path, you know, to stay focused. You know, and for me, you know, I'm a strong man.
We deliver food in the evenings.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can build this.
So that we can do this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, Mama used to tell me all the time. She says, you know what? You do what you have to so that you can do what you want to.
Yeah.
That's
She told me
it.
that all the time, you know? And she said, you know what? And keep your faith. You know, I'm a strong man of faith. So it's like, you know, I focus on, you know, trying to do the right thing, you know, even if it doesn't always benefit me,
Yep.
but it's the right thing. And I believe that it'll turn out in the end. You know, it'll turn out for us in the end. So,
You got anything to add?
Yeah, I'll get a couple questions here. So, what would you like your legacy to be? What would you like to be most known and remembered for?
you or me?
You know,
That's for
I
both.
just, that I was a nice person, but
Yeah.
I got stuff done. You know, you know, I make sure my kids are, you know, taught well, as not just school, but you know, life lessons.
Yes.
You know, just really treat others as you want to be treated. You know.
Yeah, pretty much the same with me. You know, my legacy is that, you know what, when somebody talks about me, they'll say, you know what, he was a good guy. You know, he treated people fairly, you know, because, you know, I tell people too, you know, it's like, you know, I had a conversation with somebody the other day and they were like, how did that guy die? Da, 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 da. I was like, it doesn't matter how he died, it's how he lived.
Exactly.
That's what matters. Yes. All about it.
So it's pretty much it for me. You know, I'm like, you know what, I just want to be, you know, and I don't fake it. You know, I just treat people the way I want to be treated, and I want to be treated nice. you know, well. So, you know.
I love that.
All right. If you could relay any message to your fans, what would you want to say to them?
I would say follow your dreams, treat people the way you want to be treated,
And eat key lime pie.
That's what I love key lime pie.
And be good.
be good.
Right here.
Right? She says, and be,
Be
good.
good.
Yeah, and come to the show and see a Sweet Stock on the 28th in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Ah,
You know, I usually end asking about advice, but I think we've done advice through the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I'll end with this. What's next?
yes. What's next for all of you?
I would think continuing to do what we do. You know, I'll let you say what's next for you guys.
What's next for you? She wants to show you her doll that she earned. She worked for this new doll.
No.
It's
No,
the
no,
new
no, no.
Na-na-na
But
doll.
this actually comes out at September 11th. The
Yeah.
creator of the Na dolls gave it to me.
And she worked for a print job. Gosh, a couple
And
days
these
ago.
are her clothes.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
She's been wanting to tell you guys
Right.
for the past hour.
So she'll be in the box. She'll be one of the
Yeah,
Love it.
hopefully she's on the phone during the
I
advertisement.
want to put on her clothes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
show them.
What was the question?
What's next for us?
I was next. Gosh, you know what? All I do is I keep auditioning and hope for a booking. You know, that's all I can do. You know, with the kids. I mean, we're busy with life. I mean, already looking at colleges for Nick. You know, he plays soccer. He's a phenomenal soccer player. You know, I I whatever. I'm just trying to get book the next gig. So I'm. So if there's any producers out there, I'm very funny.
Yeah. She needs her own show. She needs her own pilot. You know,
for sure.
I always joke that there are things that happen in our life when because we're a 24/7 couple and always have been. For 19
we've
years.
always worked together.
And there's so many things that happen. I'm so glad a reality show ain't following us because they would pick that one.
Crazy footage.
Yeah. Oh no, believe me. We could be there. I mean, our life is kind of the same way. It's like you guys, and we are 24 hours too. I tell you, I mean, I'd be lost. Well, you know what I'm talking about, Chris. It's like we have all this up here, but we need this to put it all in order. You know what I mean? So for me, what's next for me is I really, really want to focus on writing. She says she can do it on.
I'm cutting coupons.
Yeah, I want to continue to write more music. But I traveled for a while with the music ministry where I was sharing my faith. I want to get back to that. I think what happened with me there was I was disappointed by that industry because people don't know that industry, and it's not that much.
A little cutthroat.
It can be a little dark, and it's not supposed to be.
Exactly.
Right.
We've learned. I mean,
dabbled a little
see,
bit.
I went through 19 years of addictions until God healed me 13 years ago.
Wow.
The first 5 years of our marriage was really hectic on her, but she loved me in spite of the addictions, and I really believe that God brought her into my life to help heal me. Because of that, I've been sober over 13 years. But we've got a story between all that, and it's like it's like in the Christian world from and all that. It's like unless you're connected, you can forget getting on any church stage. I mean, even my own church. I mean, again, I love our church.
Oh yes,
but we love our church, but we're a bigger church, and they know our story.
Yeah,
they could help us with the platform, but it don't happen. And so we've definitely learned that one of the hardest things to do is if you are a Christian trying to grow a ministry side, a lot of times churches is not going to be your avenue at the beginning.
You know what? It's funny. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Right?
Yes.
And what people also don't realize is that in the Christian music industry, in the music industry, if you're Black, you're gospel. If you're white, you're Christian.
Oh.
That's it.
Contemporary Christian music.
Contemporary Christian,
Yes.
that's white. But so when I released my first Christian CD, the label ended up sending it to the radio stations without a picture on it. So that they would play it.
Wow.
Because when they saw that, I was, of course, what did I know about the industry? I was just being me, I had on a leather jacket, I was being cool, and they were like, he's a rapper. So
they sent them CD singles. It was just text.
And the funny thing was, I don't know if you guys know this guy is Andre Crouch. Andre Crouch, amazing songwriter, gospel artist. So he had my CD, and I finally talked to him, and I handed him another one, and he looked at it and he goes, I have this CD. He said, I have this. It sat on my counter for about 3 weeks. I wouldn't listen to it because you look like a rapper. And I was like,
oh, wow.
He said, but one day I listened to it. That's a great CD, son. That's a great CD. And I was like, well, thank you very much. And he said, he goes, you might not want to use that photo, though. I'm like, yeah. And then and then I understood why. I didn't know why before, and I've talked to a few different artists who are Christian recording artists, and they've run into the same thing. The guys from DC Talk, they were running into a lot of issues too, trying to get on gospel radio, And now what? Tate's the lead singer for the Newsboys. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It's like, it's weird. That whole business, that industry is crazy. So that kind of pushed me away from that. Yeah. But I also feel like all the music that I write is generally about love anyway. Yeah. So maybe, God has now given me another platform to where I don't have to go into a church, but I can still share my music to people who wouldn't go into a church, but still share love.
See, we get to share our God-inspired story through our show.
Through the show.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, he'll give you a platform,
That's awesome.
So it's that's kind of where we're at right now too. And the guys in the band feel the same way. It's use the gifts that he's given you to bless other people. And that's kind of where we are, and that's always been where I want to. Oh, you want to do what?
Now the dolly is now dressed.
She's fully dressed now.
Oh, listen. Oh,
That's
What's
awesome.
her name?
Lara Vaughn.
Lara
Vaughn.
That's her name. And they come with these little tags that talks about them. Lara Vaughn was born
in the same birthday.
They have the same.
Yeah. Her birthday is on my birthday, April 4th.
Yep.
Wow.
Same birthday.
I like that.
Awesome. Caitlin would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good. So, well, good.
I love that. So as we close out here, tell everybody how they can find y'all.
Please do.
Right. Well, you first.
Okay. So my Instagram is Suzanne _Gutierrez or Gutierrez _ Hedges. Leona _ Hedges _ official. Nicholas without an H _ Hedges _ official. And he really doesn't do Instagram. But he does it. I mean, he does the Reunion of Souls. He has personal ones. He doesn't mess with them. And so a Reunion of Souls. Take a gander.
Yeah. So you can check us on the Reunion of Souls Facebook page or the Instagram page.
Yeah.
And once I get back into my music ministry, I do have Facebook, Eddie Hedges Music.
And we should bring Nicholas on as an episode in himself, since he's done a lot in acting.
Yeah.
I should have him and his pretend brother, Jaden. His name is Jaden Haynes Starr. I bet they would do it. That would be fun.
Awesome.
They've done a couple Instagram lives. They're really funny.
That would be great. Just email us the info and we'll get it set up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If they can't see, I was like, "Hi, my name's Laura."
Oh, beautiful.
All right, well, we really enjoyed
This was
really fun. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's one of the most fun episodes we've ever
Oh, thank you.
And we definitely look forward to having y'all back down the road.
We do.
You know what? And thanks, guys, for having us.
It was nice
on.
meeting you guys, and thanks, Caleb, for listening.
Caleb, I'll see you on the 28th, right?
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.